Greetings, stamp enthusiasts, and welcome to another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Snail Mail with Smokey is a YouTube channel dedicated to all things philatelic. So I have a really exciting episode for you today. I want to talk to you about a set of stamps that usually hangs in my office right about there. I have a few sets of stamps that I hang on my wall just because I like them and I like to look at them or they mean something to me personally. And today I want to talk to you about this set of 4 stamps released by the United Kingdom that feature Alfred Lord Tennyson. But before we get into the stamps, let's talk a little bit about this famous poet. Tennyson was born on August 6th, 1809 in Somersby, Lincolnshire, England. His father was George Clayton Tennyson, who was a clergyman who served as the rector of Somersby, also the rector of Bennyworth and Bag Embury, and the vicar of Grimsby. Now, Alfred Tennyson began writing poetry as a young boy, and his first work was published in 1827. But it wasn't until the 1840s that his work really became recognized and he really began to receive some popularity for it. Tennyson was a student at King Edward VI Grammar School from 1816 to 1820. He entered Trinity College at Cambridge in 1827. Now, while at Cambridge, he joined this secret society called the Apostles. Now, the Apostles got their name because there were 12 founding members. Now, what the society was an intellectual group that met together to discuss and debate questions of philosophy, politics, ethics, government, and religion. Now, while there at Cambridge, Tennyson was awarded the Chancellor's Gold Medal for one of his first works entitled Timbuktu. He published his first solo collection of poems in 1830. Now, while at Cambridge, something dramatic happened in 1831, and that is Tennyson's father died, and that required him to leave Cambridge before he finished his degree and return to the rectory where his mother was still living, and they were permitted to live there for another 6 years, and there he shared the responsibility of taking care of his widowed mother. In 1833, Tennyson published his second book of poetry, which had some notable poems, including the first version of The Lady of Shalott. This volume of poems was heavily criticized. And because it was so criticized, Tennyson became very discouraged. He became so discouraged that although he continued to write, he didn't publish anything else for 10 years. Now, on May 14th, 1842, while living in London, Tennyson published 2 different volumes of poems. The first was an introduction of poems that had already been published, and the second had entirely new poems. And these 2 published works of poems had great success. People really loved them. And it was in 1850 that Tennyson really reached the pinnacle of his career. He published his masterpiece, In Memoriam AHH, which was dedicated to his really good friend Arthur Hallam, who had passed away. And later that same year, on June 13th, he was appointed poet laureate, succeeding William Wordsworth. And he held this position of poet laureate until he died in 1892. In 1855, Alfred Lord Tennyson produced one of his best-known works, which is The Charge of the Light Brigade, a dramatic tribute to the British cavalrymen who were involved in a ill-advised charge on the 25th of October, 1854, during the Crimean War. So, though Tennyson had a lot of success, they wanted to make him a baron, but he turned it down. But finally in 1883, he accepted the offer of a peerage, which is a higher rank than a baron, and he thus became Baron Tennyson of Aldworth and Freshwater, and became better known as Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now, Tennyson continued writing well into his 80s, and he died on October the 6th, 1892 at Aldworth at age 83. He was buried at Westminster Abbey, and a memorial was also erected at All Saints Church in Freshwater. Now, you may not be aware of this, but there are a number of phrases from Tennyson's works that have become commonplace in the English language. Have you ever heard the phrase, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all"? That's Tennyson. That theirs is not to reason why, but to do and die. That's Tennyson. My strength is as the strength of 10. That's Tennyson. To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. That's Tennyson. Knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. That's also Tennyson. Now, I want to share with you these stamps. And while I do, I want to tell you a little bit about my personal connection with this. As many of you know, my last name is Tennyson. It's spelled differently. It's spelled with an I instead of a Y. My ancestors are from Great Britain, from the United Kingdom, and something I'm very proud of to have that ancestry. Members of my family have traced it way back. My ancestors came from England and settled in the United States. And when they came from England to the United States, our name was spelled with a Y. But like all families do, there was a family squabble, and part of the family changed the spelling of their name from a Y to an I and left the state that my family had settled and went to Oklahoma. So that's why my last name is spelled with an I and not a Y. It is rumored, it is heavily rumored that we are related to Alfred Lord Tennyson. So I like to lovingly call him Uncle Alfred. Whether we are related or not, I don't know. It's favorable that we probably are through some of the research my family's done. But nonetheless, it's still a fun story to tell. So let's look at these stamps. The first stamp is I want to show you in this series. This series was issued on March 10th, 1992. All stamps are 35 by 37 millimeters. They were issued for the death centenary of Alfred Lord Tennyson. Well, this first stamp is Scott number 1441. It features Tennyson in 1888 and the beguiling of Merlin. It has a face value of 24p, and it's just a really lovely stamp. The second stamp is Scott number 1442, which features Tennyson in 1856, and the work April Love. It has a face value of 28p. The third stamp is Scott number 1443. This is Tennyson in 1864 and features I Am Sick of Shadows with a face value of 33p. And the fourth and final stamp in this series features Tennyson as a young man, and this is Scott number 1444. So this is a set of stamps that I really like. One, because of the name, of the family history that I have from my ancestors from Great Britain who came over to America many years ago and settled here. And I think they're really great stamps. And I think Alfred Lord Tennyson, whether he's Uncle Alfred or not, I think he was a very talented writer. His father was a minister. I'm a minister. He was a great writer. I like to write, and so those things really resonate with me. Now, before I close out today, I want to thank you for watching this episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a big old thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take a minute and hit the subscribe button right now. As we leave, I thought I would share with you one of my favorite poems of Alfred Lord Tennyson, And I'm going to share a selection or a section of that poem with you. And this is from the poem of Ulysses. So I hope you enjoy it. And until I see you next time, have a great day. Bye-bye. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes and slow moon climbs. The deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends. 'Tis not too late to seek a new world. Push off, and setting well in order smite the sounding furls. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gospel will wash us down. It may be that we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now the strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.